this is the amazing thing. Sascha, let me come back to you, because I share all of those concerns. But layered on top of that, which Silkie alluded to, there seems to be a determination not even to look at the efficacy. No. So you were mentioning in Australia, different rules in different states. I think they might vary a bit more than they do in the UK, but they sure as hell vary in the UK. Yeah. So we can see whether the Scottish impositions, and you might just be against them on principled grounds, but if you were to put aside principles and just look at efficacy, the evidence seems to be that these have no benefits whatsoever. So even if you put aside worries about civil liberties, worry about excluded parts of the community and the rest of it, doesn't seem to be any evidence is working, is there?
Yeah, exactly. And look, I think what I have been constantly amazed by throughout, because the whole world's been grappling with this pandemic, right? So in a sense, you've got hundreds of countries with the ability to test out hundreds of different rules, and yet no one seems to look and say, hey, that thing didn't work, let's not do that. Instead, earlier of last year now, we had curfews, and there was no reason that made sense. The introduction of mask rules in some places, but not others. Either you believe that masks work, and, I think that on masks, I think that they're a useful thing because psychologically they at least tell people that actually there is still a pandemic going on. But it doesn't make sense. There's no sense of this is a blanket uniform policy and we can say A equals B and it works. And as you say, we have examples of where this doesn't work and where it hasn't worked. Mm-hmm. And vaccine passports especially, I think, the risks that come with these things are so great that the payoff that you get, so things like vaccine passports, for example, the risk of disinformation and the risk of distrust in a system that asks you to put all your details into an app. And, I have friends who, they don't watch the news as much as I do, and they're a little bit skeptical about it. They're not kind of in any weird conspiracy theory groups.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So there should be. Because there's no evidence for it. You can't point to anywhere and say, well, Israel managed to eliminate coronavirus through their vaccine passport. No, they didn't. Because unfortunately, as we've seen, the situation that we're now in, we've got 90% of people double vaccinated. Unfortunately, vaccines don't prevent transmission and people still get a bit ill when they're vaccinated and they get coronavirus. So this is the worrying thing. When you have a government that is imposing rules that don't work and they're all about the theatre of the thing, that is just floodgates are open for anything. I mean, if we're not doing evidence-based policy, anything goes. Why don't we jump up twice to stop COVID? I mean, where does it end? And yeah, exactly. And so where does it end? But in particular, what is frustrating about this is it will have real harms, and distrust is part of it. Look, if you're not distrusting the government by now, you're not paying attention because they shouldn't be trusted. We're being lied to all the time. We've been lied to about the number 10 party. We've been lied to about the evidence base of some of these policies. We've been lied to about lots of things. And this is a crossing of the Rubicon, I'm afraid, I think. And now we've got the whole of the UK. It's happened piecemeal because you've got Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and now England. And I'm just hoping that some people in Parliament are going to find a backbone over the next few days and couple of weeks. And this has to be the thing that the government is defeated on. And if they're not, there will be plenty of people in a quite justified way who simply won't comply. I'm going to be one of them because I grew up believing I lived in Britain, which is a democracy, not a papers, please society. And we won't stop at Parliament, we'll take them to court as well.
Well, if you enjoyed that conversation, why not watch one of these other videos? And while you're here, remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss out on a single IEA broadcast.